Today you're tuned into another edition of the Morning Motivational Moment. My name is Malik Padgett, and today is another Two for Tuesday. So Jack is back. Welcome back, Jack.
Hey, what do you say, Malik?
So yeah, Jack's on his notorious morning walk. So as he gathers the strength from walking and getting fresh energy in the morning, we are connecting energy with you on this place we call the virtual sofa. The virtual sofa is a community virtual space where you can sit up on the sofa, take your shoes off, make yourself at home, and just connect with souls, connect with good energy, connect with people that share like interests, and that interest is geared around spiritual energy. We know that we have three parts: mind, body, and soul. And so the mind are things that are connected to the cognition of the brain. The body is the physical you, and the soul is the intricate essence of what really defines you. We are human beings. We are soulful beings having a human experience, and on this experience, this is a journey that we come on at different places in life according to what we know when we're born, what we know, what we develop in life, and then it becomes like a spiritual highway. And the focus is to stay on this journey together, and that's what this virtual sofa does. It helps us create the knowledge of staying on the journey. So Jack,
Yes.
let's talk about staying on that journey. Good morning to you. How are you feeling this morning?
So far, so good. Just got out of the condo and onto the street. It's pitch black with, few lights and lots of stars. So I can't argue at all. This is part of the journey. Since we're talking journey,
It's interesting because when I go out in the morning too, it's something, there's a peace. I mean, obviously, all your senses are fully aligned being out there, by yourself, but it's such a peace that you feel early in the morning when there's no cars, no people, no traffic, not a lot of noise. It's like that connection between you and the energy of the universe.
Oh yeah, it's and then it's funny because you're doing two things that are quite opposites. One is you're in a space that's so still and so quiet and so peaceful, and yet I'm walking. So I'm, the body is using its energy, and it's me, I personally look at it, I say it's the extremes. Even though, okay, I'm not running, I'm not working out so hard that I can't breathe or do two things at once, but just the movement of the body, as you said, when you're talking about the three parts, body, mind, and soul. So your body is moving, but your mind is, and your spirit are at such peace, and it's, I don't know. I guess that's maybe what meditation is about. I'm not quite sure, because we always think of meditation as stillness. But, going for walks, you have two things taking place. I say you have the movement of the body, and when you walk in the morning, you have the darkness, you have the quiet, you have the still of the environment. And so you have these two, what most people would say at odd extremes, but I think it's a beautiful balance.
I think so too. You mentioned something when you said that for you it's a form of meditation. I believe so as well, because I had that conversation with you before, that when I walk in the morning, I feel such peace, and it is a meditational type state. It's there's not many people out. There's a few animals that you'll see running to and fro. But for me as well, when I'm out in the morning and there's not, it is meditation. That is actually, I told you 2 times that I feel most connected. It's in the shower and it's walking in the morning. And so that too, I feel the same way.
Well, it definitely, for me, it starts the day right. And I think you and I have talked about, the way you start things, the importance of that, and you mentioned this morning about the journey. And all journeys have a starting point.
Absolutely.
And let's face it, it's like every day has a starting point. You roll out of bed, and once in a while you have those days where you just, your energy is off. And you're sluggish, or I don't know, maybe you have a thought about something it could be from deep in the past, or, something as recent as, the conversation you had on the phone with someone before you went to bed. So, something that disturbs you. Mm-hmm. And you wake up the next day and you just don't start right. And, sometimes that snowballs.
That is actually extremely powerful, because I can speak firsthand from first experience. That exact thought. If I go to bed and not a good space, meaning if there's any dissension with the person that I'm with, and if you hurl any type of discomfort before you go to bed, the next day, the next morning, you carry that.
Yeah.
That's why I've heard many people say it's so important when you go to sleep, don't take whatever happened to bed with you. When you wake up the next morning, it does wear on you. It does carry over. We are spiritual beings, and because we're spiritual beings, we pick up energy. We give off energy. We transmit energy. When the energy is not pure, it's not coming from a place of purity. Or you could be pure, but you could pick up something that doesn't feel good, and if you don't immediately extinguish it, it can carry to the next morning. And I think that's a vital point, because when you wake up, you should wake up renewed, mind, body, and soul. So your physical body is resting, your mind is also resting, but your spirit needs to rest and heal. And when you go to sleep with toxicity of any sort, or you pick up something that didn't feel so good, you can carry that to the next morning.
Well, you just like sprung an immediate thought in my head. And the question is, so when you notice these moments and you're disturbed at night and you're getting ready for bed or whatnot, do you have a routine or a ritual or a cure for the negativity or the disturbed spirit? Anything that helps that before you go to bed? Is there a prayer you might say? Is there an activity you may do? Like, we often talk about starting the day off great, but this is the opposite. I guess this morning we're kind of talking about balance. Body is moving, mind and soul are peaceful. These extremes. And we talked about how important it is to start the day. So if your day is ending and you're very disturbed about something that's happened, is there a ritual or, like I say, an activity or prayer? Like, is there a way that you can try to kind of reset?
Absolutely.
Okay.
What I do is, what I do is, first of all, most of the time, I remember to ask the Creator for light and love, because to me, whenever I deal with anything, including going to bed, light shines on dark places, and love and light is a metaphor for, if you turn on a physical light and the room goes from light to dark, from dark to light, but light also heals, and then love heals, delivers, and sets free. Love is liberating. And so the first thing I say is, Creator, I'm asking for an abundance of light and love to shine on any darkness, and love to heal, deliver, and restore me. And then I also think of 5 things that I'm most grateful for that happened that day. So before I close my eyes, I think of, now some people write it down. I should journal, and I don't journal every night. I do sometimes voice journals, which I need to catch up on that. But from the perspective of 5 things that I'm most grateful for, that is what I do. I think about 5 things that I'm most grateful for, and I talk about those 5 things mentally to myself, and then I ask for, and then I pray, I ask for the blessings of the Creator, blessings of God to go before me, to carry me through the night, to protect my dwelling, the angels, the supernatural power to protect me, keep me, and sustain me. And then I go off to sleep, and I sleep peaceful.
Wow, I mean, I love that, because and the reason I asked that question is because as we're talking, how your mind will have 3 or 4 thoughts, conversations going on at once.
Mm-hmm.
One of the thoughts I'm having as we were talking was that voice in my head saying, "You don't have a ritual, and before you go to bed," and I really don't. I tend to just oftentimes fall asleep on the couch watching the TV if I don't have my kids with me. And just a little background for anybody listening. I'm recently divorced, coming up on 2 years, and 50% custody. So I have my children with me on Wednesdays and Thursdays, and every other weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So Mondays and Tuesdays, I have this quiet time in the evening, which is beautiful. But lately, Malik, I have been falling asleep on the couch watching TV rather than writing or following a ritual. And especially when your mood is off, to not have something that kind of straightens you or resets you or, aligns your mind with peace, you will wake up the next morning bothered. Mm-hmm. And, that cycle is not good. And that's one of those cycles that, if not addressed, like clearly and intentionally, can just, like something going down the drain, it can just get worse.
So let me, so the thing that I think is most beneficial when you know that you need to get yourself back on track with a spiritual routine, like people have a gym routine, a spiritual routine.
Absolutely.
Find music that balances that. So for me, when I feel like I just sometimes I do have that feeling where I just can't get back on track.
Okay.
What I do is I find music. Gospel music works for me.
Okay.
For the most part, because in gospel music, I feel that it's connecting with God, creator source, is connecting with something that is reminding you to come out of where you are and get to where you should be. And so sometimes we all get into it. We have a feeling or we have, we just feel sometimes burdened. We can feel burdened down. I hate to use the word burdened down, but sometimes we can. It's a human emotion.
Oh, yeah.
But gospel music for me takes me out of emotion, because emotion is like a roller coaster. We cannot live in emotion. Emotions go up and down. We cannot follow those ups and downs. We have to be consistent. And what gospel music does for me, it gets me back to the affirmations. It gets me back to the reminders. It gets me back to who I am, why I'm here, what do I want to be, what do I want to set, what precedent do I want to leave, what legacy do I want to establish. That is what gospel music does for me. And sometimes when we cannot get ourselves out of a daily routine or a daily rut, find an additional source, because the universe gives us resources. Find a resource that will enable you to feel strengthened, strong, empowered. And when it's almost like if you're around a positive person that says, "Oh my God, after I've heard this person talk, I'm getting on my A game." Sometimes it's find that source within you. Maybe it's music. If it's not music, maybe it's a workout routine that gets your adrenaline flowing.
You said something that really touched a chord with me, and I often do this. Let's say, if I'm shaving or in the bathroom, like a morning routine, for me, I shave my head, and that takes forever. It's a large area.
No,
Can't
it's
say
not. You
can't
got
say
a
it's all
small
filled
head.
with
What you
brains
talking
either, my
about?
brother.
Boy, you got a
But
small head.
but the funny thing is, or not funny, but one of the things I find myself often doing is I'll listen to TED Talks,
Okay.
or I'll just
There
go
you
on
go.
and I'll like put something in YouTube where I say positive talks or difference making talks or life changing talks,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll find some really great speakers, and once I hear something positive, or you hear someone's story and what they've been through, and like you say, it's this shift
Mm-hmm.
in your spirit, your mental energy, your spiritual energy. Sometimes we just need a wake up call of saying, hey, okay, yes, this person did you wrong. Yes, you got the short end of the stick. You had a bad business deal with someone, somebody at work, a boss, a colleague, whatever, was deceitful or underhanded. But then sometimes you gotta stop, and
Yep.
what listening to speakers often does for me, you hear their story and you hear some of the things that they dealt with and went through in life, and you'll be like, oh my God, I'm up here getting all worked up and upset and, like you say, emotionally disturbed over something. And really, I can look at this person and say, I wouldn't trade places with them for all the money in the world.
Well, it helps you really put it into perspective, right? It helps you say,
Oh,
look,
yes.
this person, what am I complaining for? What I thought was
Right.
so major, all of a sudden now has changed. You mentioned something for you that I gathered. It's the TED Talk. It's the
Yeah.
TED Talk that helps you now become grounded again when you're going maybe on you're losing your space on this journey, and you get back centered again. Maybe that could be what you could do in the evenings, so that you just don't feel like, maybe you could put on a TED Talk. I don't know if
Yeah.
you have surround sound or some kind of music system in your house, or just your cell phone. But
Yeah.
put on that TED Talk. I think that's empowering, because there are so many great speakers that have TED Talks.
And there are, and you know what I love, and it's not overly long. I mean, you can find some great podcasts out there with some 2-hour, 3-hour conversations that are incredible. But most of the time with bedtime, you're not trying to go too long. So TED Talks, I think, run between like 15 and 20 minutes in general.
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll get like a list of some of the best ones. And of course, you can always look for new ones. But I feel like if your spirit's disturbed, you're in a certain mood, you don't want to spend time searching for the thing that also helps you. You want to be able, like you said, you say gospel music for you works. You can go right to gospel music. I'm sure there's particular songs
Absolutely.
that just really, like, for whatever reason, the vibration, the passion, the emotion within it touches you and can shift you much quicker. So, maybe I'll make.
It's so, yes, it's interesting, because there is particular gospel music. Like, I can't listen to gospel music that says, oh, I was a wretch undone, and I was a horrible person, and I was garbage, and you picked me
Right.
up, and without you, I'm just trash. I don't listen to those songs at all. I don't
Okay.
need something to remind me of all the negative things about who a human being could be. What I do listen to is, that's almost like an authority figure telling a child, you're trash, you're garbage, but I got a good message for you. No, I listen to music that says you are great, you are inspiring, and there is a source to keep you on this path. Like, so when I listen to gospel music, I choose gospel music that has affirmations in it.
Right.
Through, in this case, the Bible, the Word of God. There's aspirations in it. I do not listen to gospel music that is like, woe is me, I'm treading up this hill, I'm a wretch undone. I refuse.
Yeah.
I refuse to listen to that, because that is not building the soul. That is taking on someone's toxic energy they felt at the time they wrote, or either they associate humility with being like beaten down. That is not humility. That is like That's not humility. Humility doesn't mean that you have to be beat down. Humility comes from a place of peace where you realize there's something bigger than self, and you're grateful for it. But humility doesn't mean I have to be downtrodden to prove to you that I'm humble.
I think we would call that masochism.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking. It was like, nah, that's not good. That doesn't work for me. So then so then I put it out there into this virtual space and to the listening audience, and I say, what is your means of connecting to relate to something bigger than self that helps you get back on path? And so I'm speaking to the listening audience. So Jack mentioned for him it's a TED Talk. For me, it's gospel music. And then it's many other things like TED Talks. And for Jack, it's many other things beside a TED Talk.
Of course.
What do you, as the listening audience, focus on or will help? And if you don't know, seek and you shall find. If you just sit and say, do something. Don't sit and just ponder, but do something. Say, okay, what benefits me most? Is it calling 3 good friends that have always encouraged me? Is it reading a good novel? Is it going out and getting to the gym? Is it calling a family member? Is it talking to my mother? Is it forgiving people and cleaning up the past? All of those things have their rightful place. Right, Jack?
Oh, 100%. And like you said, we're so complex. We human beings. So let's face it. Everybody is going to have something that touches them more. Like, just look, you and I, we're very similar. We've always said the two of us are kindred spirits. Yet, you go to gospel, which I never do. And not that I'm against it.
Right. It's just not your...
It's not my thing.
Right.
And I go to the TED Talks, and at night, that may not be your thing. But it's not the thing that either one of us go to. It's
how we arrive.
It's whatever it takes to get to the position of peace and balance.
Absolutely.
Where your spirit is, realigned. Kind of like going to a chiropractor, for the soul.
Absolutely. And, good metaphor.
Yeah, and this one works for me. Hey, that one works for you. But whatever it is, you find what works for you.
Absolutely.
And stick to it.
And speak to it. Jack, these 2 for Tuesdays are awesome, man. We're coming up on our 6 o'clock hour already. So,
yes, we are.
So I wanted to just say, brother, once again, I thank you for making 2 for Tuesdays or 2 for Tuesday an excellent meeting of the minds and of the soul, brother. I appreciate you. You are my soul brother.
And you are mine.
So anyway, as we wrap up this hour, I wanted to say thank you for tuning in to another edition of the Morning Motivational Moment. This is 2 for Tuesday with Jack and Malik. And more importantly, remembering what does it for you, or what can you develop that can be that outside source that will help you connect to a place of peace and affirming energy that can create or either restructure the mood or the energy that you're in. What can you do? That's what's most important. So as we wrap up, I wanted to say that you and I can have whatever we want. We have to say exactly what we want and believe exactly what we say. Also, for me, I am a solar panel. I absorb light so that I am solar powered to give light back. Remember to give light and love everywhere you go. And one last thing, Jack, that works for me is I talk to my creator, I say, in you, I live, I move, I breathe, and then I breathe in. And I have my full, complete, divine being. Jack, man, it was great talking to you again, brother. I really appreciate you.
Always, Malik, and I appreciate you too. And hey, these talks, one of the things you actually mentioned was that sometimes a good talk with a good friend can get set your spirit straight and get your mood right. And I got to tell you, my energy is up right now. Anytime I have a great conversation and I have something that stimulates my mind and a great idea for the future, it works wonders. So thank you as well, brother.
Good for you, man. Have a blessed day. And for the listening audience, may you have a blessed day as well. And remember that there's nothing that anyone could ever say or do that could ever take you off your path. You are the captain of your ship, and no weapon formed against you shall prosper, and anything that, or any words that would try to rise up against you, may the Creator send them back to sender. I say send everything back to sender if it doesn't come with a good purpose to it. My brother,
Amen.
I love you all. You guys have a great day.
All right, Malik, I love you. Listening audience, I love you as well.
All right, appreciate it. And lastly, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for loving us. Thank you for loving us. Love is the greatest gift that you can give anybody. Ciao. Take care.